Because you know there's always going to be a list, it's me.
Welcome to MsMojo, and today we're counting down our picks for the best T-Swift song references, details, and parallels that it might take you a minute to fully understand or notice.
She's playing the chill girl, and then to us, she whispers, 1, 2, 3, after her final who's counting, because she's counting.
Number 10, The Birds, Exile featuring Bon Iver and Evermore featuring Bon Iver. Stop paying attention for even a second and you'll miss this one. Exile and Evermore might be on different, albeit sister, Taylor Swift albums, but they certainly have a lot in common. For one, they're both piano ballads. 2, they're both collaborations with Bon Iver. But there's another, less noticeable similarity that might surprise you. Right around the 25 to 26 second mark on both numbers, you can hear birds chirping quietly in the background.
Laughing but the joke's not funny at all.
We're not sure why this link exists, but if you listen closely, it's definitely there.
I've been down since July.
Is it something to do with the Raven? Is Taylor Swift on her Edgar Allan Poe game? Or is Nevermore and Evermore just a coincidence? Number 9, Transformed Obsession, I Did Something Bad.
Never trust a narcissist. Oh, but think of me.
If anyone could curb narcissism, we guess it would be Taylor Swift.
Did you hear my covert narcissism? Like disguises altruism, like some kind of consciousness.
At first glance, I Did Something Bad seems like a pretty straightforward tune, lyrically speaking. But right from the first lyric, Swift is engaging in some light wordplay. In the first line, she says she never trusts a narcissist, which is someone who only thinks about themselves. But by the end of that first verse, Swift has already turned said narcissist on his head. She wields her power, ensuring that all he thinks about is her. If that's the case, Swift can play them all like a violin indeed. Number 8, the VMAs reference, Back to December, Taylor's version.
It was so echoey in there. At the time, I didn't know they were booing him doing that. I thought that they were booing me.
It was September 13th, 2009, the night of the MTV Video Music Awards that changed the trajectory of Kanye West, Taylor Swift, and of course, Taylor Lautner's lives.
Yo, Taylor, I'm really happy for you. I'm gonna let you finish. But Beyonce had one of the best videos of all time.
Swift and Lautner were dating at the time of the horrible "I'ma let you finish" incident, and he was actually on stage when it happened. Now, he's also confirmed that Swift's Back to December, a deeply apologetic breakup song, was written about him.
What are your thoughts on Back to December?
It's a banger.
It is a banger.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a good song.
It's a good song.
I like it. It's a nice song. I also like that it's the one nice song that is about my husband.
You might not notice this in the first couple of listens, but in the ballad, she appears to reference that night at the VMAs. Indeed, she talks about how a former flame held her in his arms that September night, the first time he ever saw her cry.
And now you held me in your arms that September night, the first time you ever saw me cry.
Coincidence? We think not. Number 7, Jane Eyre and the Sun Also Rises, Invisible String.
Isn't it just so pretty to think all along there was some invisible string?
Taylor Swift has never shied away from a literary reference. The lyrics for Invisible String might be some of the most packed we've ever seen. It's a deeply love-filled song, so it makes sense that she would seemingly include some of the more romantic lines in literature.
I kind of love the romantic idea that every step you're taking one step closer to where you're supposed to be, you know, guided by this little, like, invisible string.
One connection comes from Charlotte Bronte's Jane Eyre, when Mr. Rochester talks about a string binding him to the novel's protagonist.
As if I had a string somewhere under my left ribs, tightly knotted to a similar string in you. And if you were to leave, I'm afraid that cord of communion would snap.
The other relates to the line, "Isn't it just so pretty to think?" which is very close to the "Isn't it pretty to think so" quote from Ernest Hemingway's The Sun Also Rises.
Oh, darling, we could have had such good times together.
Isn't it pretty to think so?
We're not the first ones to notice these links, so it would appear Swift is a voracious reader indeed. Number 6, Burton to this Taylor, Ready for It.
I've told you before, with you, words do not come easily to me. There is too much unsaid within me that I cannot say.
And I cannot know it.
There is much unsaid within you, too.
That is probably true of everybody.
When you think of the most famous romantic duos in history, who do you think of? We don't know if any of Taylor Swift's boyfriends have really completed that power couple just yet, but in Ready for It, she appears to let us know she's looking to get to that level. In the second verse, she says that she wants her lover to be the Burton to this Taylor.
And he can be my jailer, Burton to this Taylor. Every love I've known in comparison is a failure.
This is a clever wordplay on her name and an explicit reference to Richard Burton and Elizabeth Taylor. The old Hollywood pair had one of the most storied, talked about romances in the industry's history.
What do you take me for?
Much too much.
Yeah.
Number 5, Same Drone, Peace and Marjorie.
A coming of age is come and gone. Suddenly this summer it's clear.
If you don't have an ear for music, this one might be difficult to catch. The songs Peace and Marjorie might be different thematically, one about how fame can affect a relationship and one about Swift's grandmother, but they share one very important detail.
Devil's in the details, but you got a friend in me.
If you listen closely to Marjorie's bridge, you can pick up on the very same drone that appears in Peace.
I should have asked you questions. I should have asked you how to be.
Apparently, the former track took shape first and ultimately informed the latter tune, which shows up near the end of the Folklore album.
Will I be able to give you peace? Will you be at rest with me even though, whatever comes? But you also trace the bridge.
Though Marjorie was released later, making its way onto Evermore, it still has that sonic similarity to delight fans.
When you sent me this instrumental, the first word that I thought of was this is what peace sounds like. It's got this, this amazing bass line that just made me feel like this is serenity.
Number 4, Clean Callback, Call It What You Want.
When the flowers that we'd grown together died of thirst.
Most Swifties will agree that Clean is one of the most underrated tracks in Taylor's discography. We wouldn't be surprised if Swift thinks so too, considering there appears to be a lyrical callback to it in Reputation's Call It What You Want.
All my flowers grew back as thorns. Windows boarded up after the storm. He built a fire just to keep me warm.
The 1989 song's lyrics mention flowers dying of thirst and a perfect, terrible storm.
And the sky turned black like a perfect storm. Rain came pouring.
In Call It What You Want, Swift changes up the game a bit. This time, she says that all her flowers grew back as thorns, and the windows were boarded up after the storm, before describing a love that helped her heal.
All my flowers grew back as thorns. Windows boarded up after the storm. He built a fire just to keep me warm.
The parallel between the tunes is certainly fitting, considering that they're both about being faced with immense pain and finding yourself through it. Number 3, Mashup, Cornelia Street and You're Losing Me from the Vault.
Barefoot in the kitchen, sacred new beginnings that became my religion. Listen. Remember looking at this room, we loved it 'cause of the light.
If you pressed play on You're Losing Me and thought, where have I heard this before? You're not alone. It might not click right away, but many Swifties have found similarities between the Midnights track and Cornelia Street. Of course, there are lyrical links, particularly with the I hope I never lose you, I don't want to lose you, and You're losing me lines.
And I hope I never lose you, hope it never ends. Stop, you're losing me.
But the songs also feel similar musically, like they're telling two parts of the same, albeit devastating, story. When you juxtapose them, the effect is gutting. If you look up Cornelia Street and You're Losing Me mashups online, you'll see exactly what we mean. We don't know for sure if this was done on purpose, but few things are accidental in the Swift verse.
That's the kind of heartbreak time could ever mend. I can't find a pulse, my heart won't start anymore.
Number 2, the trio, Cardigan and Betty and August.
Okay, so like Cardigan is Betty's perspective from like 20 to 30 years later, looking back on this love that was this tumultuous thing. In my head, I think Betty and James ended up together.
Taylor Swift often writes very personal songs, but that changed with folklore, as evidenced in this particular trio of tunes. Once you listen through Cardigan, August, and Betty a few times, you realize that together they make up what's dubbed the teenage love triangle.
So much for summer love and saying us 'cause you weren't mine.
Each song is from the point of view of one of the 3 people involved, with overlapping lyrics and themes linking them. For example, there's Remember When I Pulled Up and Said Get in the Car in August, and James Get In Let's Drive in Betty, both roughly at the 2:47 mark.
Remember when I pulled up and said get in the car and then cancel my plans just in case you call. Just thinking of you and she pulled up like a figment of my worst intentions. She said, James, get in, let's drive.
There's also mentions in both Cardigan and Betty of James, who betrayed his love, showing up to ask for forgiveness.
And you'd be standing in my front porch like,
and yes, those time codes also match up.
Betty, I'm here on your doorstep and I planned it out for weeks now, but it's finally sinking in.
Before we unveil our top pick, here are a few honorable mentions. A Tale of Two Cities, Getaway Car. Charles Dickens would be proud of this reference.
It was the best of times, the worst of crimes. I struck a match and blew your mind, but I didn't mean it.
Idris Elba's participation, London Boy. It took us way too long to recognize that voice.
We can go driving in on my scooter, just around London. Go driving in on my scooter, just around London.
Narrative link, 'Tis the Damn Season and Dorothea. Dorothea sings one song and her old flame sings the other.
I escaped it too. Remember how you watched me leave. You got shiny friends since you left town. A tiny screen's the only place I see you now.
Bad Was the Blood, Invisible String. The song in that cab is one we know well.
Bad was the blood of the song in the cab on your first trip to LA.
Little Black Dress references, Tim McGraw and The Other Side of the Door, Taylor's version. The LBD isn't considered a staple by accident.
You think happiness. I hope you think that little black dress. After everything in that little black dress, after everything I must confess.
Before we continue, be sure to subscribe to our channel and ring the bell to get notified about our latest videos. You have the option to be notified for occasional videos or all of them. If you're on your phone, make sure you go into your settings and switch on notifications. Number 1, Colors, Various.
My heart's been borrowed and yours has been blue. All's well that ends well to end up with you.
If you've been paying any attention to the Eras Tour, you've probably noticed that Taylor Swift is having plenty of fun with colors. Throughout her career more broadly, she and fans have assigned one to each era. But this isn't the only way in which Swift infuses our lives with color. Indeed, her discography is full of references to various hues, used to describe everything from different kinds of love, like in Red or Daylight, to a partner's eyes in endless tunes.
I once believed love would be burning red, but it's golden.
Some, like Blue, turn up time and again. Others, like Gray, only show up once in a while. Regardless, it's clear that T Swift enjoys using colors to bolster the story she tells, and we love hearing her do it.
You showed me colors you know I can't see with anyone else.
Did we miss any of your favorite Taylor Swift lyrical Easter eggs? Let us know in the comments below.
Were there clues I didn't see?
Do you agree with our picks? Check out this other recent clip from MsMojo. And be sure to subscribe and ring the bell to be notified about our latest videos.